About that time, okay, thanks for joining, Paul. 7 o'clock, call this meeting of the Pinconning Area School Board to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Anderson.
Present.
Palmaville.
Present.
Doobie.
Present.
Yaris.
Present.
Rabish present. Kuchar.
Present.
Dataford.
He's excused.
Excused. Okay.
Well, thanks for everybody for coming. Hopefully, it's dry when we dismiss from here. You don't get too wet going to your car. Any additions, deletions, changes to the agenda? All right. Seeing none, we need a motion to approve. I was gonna say, you guys gotta come on. Support. Motion carried and support. Brad, thank you. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you. Any comments on the agenda items? To address the board on anything on the agenda? All right. Washing here. All right. We have the consent agenda.
Make the motion to accept the consent agenda and pay the bills totaling $899,117.82.
Support. Motion and support. Any discussion on any of those items? I need a roll call.
Doobie.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Palmaville.
Yes.
Yaris.
Yes.
Rabish, yes. Kuchar.
Yes.
6-0.
Motion carries. Thank you. Communication, Mr. Kolchak.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to start with when I started my position here, I told you as board members that I was going to ask each staff member 3 questions. What are they proud of? What needs improvement? And tell me something about yourself. Well, the second question, what needs improvement? Couple themes have come up. One is communication, and another one is mental health support for our students and for our families. What can we do? And it was very interesting that last week I was at my superintendent conference and there was a session on mental health supports for families. And it's called parentguidance.org is the website that's kind of putting this together. And I wanted to share with you some of the things that have come from that, where it's mostly for parents that talks about support, how to support your son or daughter, how to talk to them. And they do have a 30-second commercial that I thought was cool that we would show first. And you'll be able to see a little bit about what it does.
And parents have an expectation that their school will be helping with the mental health of their child. But that is a heavy responsibility. That is why school districts are partnering with AreaGuidance.org, a resource created with therapists to teach parents how to navigate mental health issues. We are here to help you, help your parents, help their children.
So this website, I think I have it right here. What's really cool about it is most of it is free. What we're looking at right here, these courses would be free for parents. They just click on it and dealing with anxiety, what happens when your son or daughter is bullied. And these are little courses, 15, 20-minute courses that say this is things you can talk about. These are supports that you can give. Very interesting. I think it would be great for our parents to have. And I actually called, I don't know if she was the president or whatever she was from Ohio today, and I said, is there anything in here that's controversial that could get us in a bind, and she's like, no, this is for parents. If they want to watch them, they can. If they don't have to. But this area is to help the students and from the parent side. So I thought it was very interesting and something that could help with one of those improvements that many staff members have been talking about. Something that goes along with it that's free is called, this. Oh, dang. Oh, My Life is Worth Living. This is a animated series. It's on YouTube. Anybody can watch it. You don't have to have this website. But it goes with it. It's from the same creators. And there's many episodes that are 15, 20 minutes. I watched 2 of them. And it was just talking about students that have anxiety or have thoughts of suicide or have different things and who's there to help, how other students go through these things like you do. So, and that's also part of this free access for students. This part is more for students to watch. And they're on Instagram and Twitter and all sorts of different things. But it came with it. So it was really cool. Now, there are some fee type parts of this as well. I think there's a cost per student in our district where we could get a parent coach that all parents in the district, if they could have up to like 30 minutes per week to click this, and a coach, it's a one-on-one talk where I'm really having trouble with my daughter's anxiety, or I'm having trouble with depression, or whatever it may be, and they talk through these type of scenarios, and it's a help. Where the lady from Ohio today that I was talking to said some people can't get all the way to Bay City for counseling or whatever it may be, where this is very helpful. They also have seminars, like a one-time seminar on depression for an hour and a half, where you get on the Zoom meeting and you can ask anonymous questions. You can be part of it and hear from these experts from all over the country how to deal with these things. So this is more for me to show you that I'm very interested in putting a little link on our website for these free services, and also looking at the 4 cost sections also, because there is money available from our funding on mental health things, and I think it's a pretty important topic for us. So that was the parentguidance.org. Any questions about that, or thoughts, concerns?
I think it's a great idea, that resource, especially for our more remote families.
Yeah.
You're right, they can't get to basic.
Right. Yeah.
It's hard,
And sometimes it's a month before you can get in, even if you want to get in, where this is right there. The access is there. So I'll keep you updated on that, the cost part, the fees, if we wanted to go in that direction. Facility update. First football field, you approved the irrigation system a few meetings ago, I think, and that is in and working nicely. The sprinklers are doing what they're supposed to do, so that is now up and running. The press box, we graciously had paneling donated from Northwoods, and Mr. Pummelville was very influential in that. So we will have paneling in the top crow's nest, it's called, of the press box. And this is where it gets good. I talked to our custodians, our maintenance, and they are so busy right now doing half of the custodial jobs because we don't have those spots filled. They can't get done what they have. So they said if you can find someone else, volunteers type, to do that, that's fine. I wanted to ask them first. I called the Career Center because we have 5 students in our building and trade class there. And I asked if it would be possible if they had a couple of days where they could stay here instead of going to the Career Center and put up that panel with some volunteer adult or someone to supervise it. And the principal, Mr. Dufresne, said, how about I send one of our teachers there to actually work on this with your students in our press box. I'm like, that is amazing. So we're working it out. Right now they're finishing putting a roof on a house, and they needed to get that done before the weather gets too bad. But within the next few weeks, I plan to have that date set where our students will be putting that up with the teacher from the Career Center in the building trades session. So thank you, Mr. Palmerville, for getting that started. Our soccer field, the irrigation is in. You can see the lines in the field. We ran into a little problem. The water pressure was too low when the sprinklers were running. So we had to have Mr. Bregel get creative and try to figure out what's the problem. And he said the pump that we put in wasn't big enough. So he called me this morning, and tomorrow he will be putting a little bit larger pump in that will make it work for sure, but we had to get the crane back and pull all that tubing out. The question that I have for you, and I think I know the answer, I found out a lot about water irrigation pumps and things, that there's a motor and a pump that goes in together into the well, and they have to be the same, they have to work together the same size. When he is putting this new pump in, it needs a 5-horse motor, which we had, and we pulled it out, and he said it was still working when we pulled it out, but it's from 1989. So do we want to put that old 1989 motor back down, which was working when he pulled it out? He said usually they last 20 to 25 years. Or his cost was $1,100 for a new 5-horse pump, where it would be new, both of them are new and they go down at the same time. I'm pretty sure I think that we would be safe to go ahead with that. We don't need any board action and the price is low enough. But would there be any concerns with putting the new pump in for $1,100 to go with, or the new motor to go with the pump?
I would have a concern not doing it.
I figured. But I at least wanted to let you know that that was the plan. And Mr. Braga will have that taken care of tomorrow morning. Scoreboard, the new scoreboard, I've contacted Nevco, which is a company that does a lot of our scoreboards around us, and they will be meeting with Mr. Bycraft and myself in the next week or two to kind of start that ball rolling, because we have some sponsors that want to help us out and make sure that is up and going next year. Dugouts and storage, we've talked about those a few times out there. We're getting plans ready. I don't think anything's going to happen this year with that. It's too late and to the time when we're going to go do that, but we're still getting it going. We may even look at some grants and things in the meantime and have that. I really don't think we're going to be playing in the spring, even with the hydro seeding. I know that was, we thought about maybe that would happen if this was done early in the summer and that grass had time to grow. But I did talk to another school district close to us that is putting in a new soccer field, and they said you need a full spring and summer before that's ready to play on, and we won't have that by next spring. But that will give us more time to work on the dugouts and the storage area and those things. We also talked about the nets behind the goal so the ball doesn't go into the neighbor's yard, and it also doesn't cross the driveway when we come in. And they are sending me a quote on those poles, kind of just like we have for the backstops for the baseball and softball, something similar to that. Audio systems. I met with Simone, Mr. Bycraft and I met with Simone out at our stadium and also in the gym, and they are getting some stuff together for us, some quotes on what it would cost to have those sounding much better. I asked how long would it cost before we say yes, we want them and before they're installed, and he said right now it's probably a minimum of 4 months to get the parts in that we need. So probably not going to have them for winter season this year, which, you know, okay, we'll do it the right way and make sure we get it in when we can. But football stadium, I knew we were not going to have those ready, but we have the system that everybody has been very happy with from Mr. Cooley has let us use his DJ equipment. We've been putting it in the corners and it sounds amazing. Not something we want him to do for every game forever. So we will be looking at our system for that. But we really thank Mr. Cooley for helping out. Quote for the blacktop by the maintenance that was approved last week for $30,000. Mr. Palmado had a concern and a good concern, and had me look at another strip of blacktop. If you can vision the south side of the building where the big door is, our quote went right from that door straight out, where there was probably 6 or 8 feet of gravel that went to the edge of the building and kept running out. So we did get a quote where it would be an additional $3,300 to go to the building. I think, and Mr. Humble, maybe you could say a little bit more on it, that I'm assuming that if some of our equipment is turning around or going there, they could fall off the edge of our new blacktop and go into the gravel. When Satkowiak looked at it, they weren't real sure that it would be easy to do because there's different levels of cement in there. They weren't sure it's worth it, but I know we wanted to look at what it would be, and if we wanted to amend that vote to add $3,300, it would, the blacktop would go to the edge of the building and go out just as far. Does that sound right?
The reason I talked to Mr. Doobie too about it, because I was sitting on the site committee, where that door comes out, if the forklift comes out and they turn and they drop off of there, not only is it gonna crack that off, but they're gonna get stuck, and then we're gonna have to be pulling them out. And if we go to that 8 or 10 or 12 feet, whatever it is, just square it up with the building, it'll look a little bit nicer that it's squared. And then if we ever wanna add on to it, we're far enough away that it will never encroach on the guys working, using that door. They can, you know, we can still add on if we wanna do more asphalt, and it would, I think, I don't know if you need a motion to amend it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause it
And
was
if
a.
that's the case,
Yeah.
we can do that.
What about school gets concerned with the concrete, you know, we stop.
I think there's one little area of concrete already there that he said he was gonna come out tomorrow and look at it again just to confirm if either way.
Where the apron is concrete, and all the rest is broken up, cracked up asphalt. And that's, I think, what he's talking about, is that approach right coming out of the garage. There's a cement approach right there. I think that's what he's talking about, is the cement that going into the garage, and the apron has got a different height variable to it. But I really think we need to do that, because if
Make a
not,
motion to amend the Scoviac quote to include the additional $3,300.
and I will support that.
A motion to support, any discussion on it? I would just say it's smarter to get it done now as opposed to have to come out there. It'll be at least less expensive now.
The only thing I talked to Chris, because I don't know if Amy's gonna be able to shoot at me. There's just a little piece of grass, and I'm gonna have her check with Scoviac to see. It's on the, it would be the west side of that alley. It's maybe 4 feet wide at one end and 1 foot at the other. It makes no sense being there. If it, you know, I don't know what it would cost. That's why I said if they stripped it out, pack the gravel in it, and do the whole thing all the way up to the other building, from building to building. It made the only sense to me, but we don't know what that would be yet. Just so you guys are aware that,
We
you know,
can do a not to exceed amount if that's the board's pleasure.
what that,
We can do a not to exceed amount if that's something.
You know,
you
roughly
guys
the
want.
size of the area that you're talking about for the 3,300?
it was
Like, is it 10 by 30? Is it
15 by 50, and the other piece that I'm talking about is maybe 6 feet by whatever's the length of that building. And it's not 6 feet on one end. I mean, the asphalt goes up, it's maybe a foot on one end and maybe 6 feet on the other. So,
But it runs the length of the building?
yeah.
Water to go, is the drainage?
In that area? No, there's nothing there. It's just, there's a piece of grass that we're mowing, a little piece of grass, and with the asphalt, you know, now when they're mowing it, where's the end of the mower? You know, otherwise they're gonna have to kind of weed with that whole section across there.
So I'm just
And
trying
we could. I would say if we made it, you know, 6,000, and then it's 6,000, I don't think,
Exceed 6,000.
to do both of those areas.
yeah.
Just, and I haven't seen it, but I agree, if it's something that we need to do, just, you got time and labor, someone going in there taking care of it. Aesthetics, just to make it look nicer.
I mean, they're gonna do that alley anyhow, they're just gonna go up to and leave that
They're
little
gonna
piece
go
of
up
grass.
through the grass, so
Yeah.
we just eliminate the grass.
Would you accept that amendment to your amendment? So, the motion would now read not to exceed $6,000 for the previously discussed plot, plus what Mr. Dewey is discussing. So you can have Sequoia take a look at that and see if that's acceptable to them. All right, so any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Yaris,
Yes.
Palmville,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Doobie,
Yes.
Rabish, yes. Kuchar,
Yes.
I think that was everybody, correct?
Well,
6-0.
motion carries. Thank you much.
And the final section, just kind of a quick review of our strategic goals. I wanted to talk about each of them in just a little bit. The quality curriculum, Ms. Braun, Dr. Braun has been doing an amazing job with our curriculum and our meetings with teachers and groups that have been coming in. So very happy with the support our staff has been receiving in our quality curriculum. Strong fiscal foundation. Chris has been doing an amazing job with our financials, keeping everything on track. I know that we are in good hands there. Innovative technology plan. Jay's been working hard to describe our innovative updates like today at 6 o'clock, showing parents that needed some new supports for our Chromebooks. Maintain facilities K through 12. We've had many improvements and we can continue to need more updates. We talked about the central heating system, the playground equipment, roofing, but I think things have been going in the right direction. And our maintenance has been supporting, like I said, our custodial work a lot lately because we're down 2 spots in our high school, middle school. But they're doing a great job with what they can. One thing that I wanted to bring up with that is R.C. Hendrick, who did our bond however many years ago, 07 to 09, they contacted me because occasionally they like to come out to a building and do a walkthrough for free. They get on the roof, they go in tunnels, they go wherever, and just give you a list of here's things that we think you may need in the next 10 years, the next 5 years, whatever it is. So not that we have to do anything, but it's nice to have that list of things that someone thinks we may need to keep our eyes on. So in the next couple of weeks, I plan on having them come out and do that, where I will be able to report back to you what they have said. Appropriate staffing, professional development, we're doing great with that. Besides our custodial staff, trying to keep them on, we're set in those regards. The final one that I wanted to talk about was our quality extracurricular programs. Currently, our results are not the quality that we're looking for. And I think you may be hearing rumblings about certain teams that are getting beat up and what's going on with all of our teams. Why is it that we are getting beat in numerous sports so bad? So I wanted to at least bring it up to the board and the community that, we are looking at things. We're trying to help. Our administrative team met for an admin meeting a couple weeks ago, and we brought this up. What can we do? We looked at reasons. What is going on? Lack of participation in many of our sports is one thing. I know COVID really hurt many schools, many districts with that. Lack of experience with our kids from our youth programs. We don't have a lot of youth programs in our area. Right now, the Bay City Y or the Dow Y is signing up for basketball teams, and I'm going to try to get something out to all the parents in those age groups to get a team together, get your 7 or 8 girls together in the class and go to that team. Do what you can just to be more competitive and have those athletic type things, skills that you need. Lack of size, strength, and speed has been showing up, and lack of out of season opportunities. What are we doing when it's not season time? Are we doing other things? So these are some things that we're just throwing around that could be hurting us. And then the next question is, what are we going to do about it? And like I said, administration has talked about some options that can help. Mr. Bycraft is promoting our sports. He's, shaking the bushes, trying to get students to come out, where last year we only had a girls varsity basketball team. We had 9 or 10 girls in the whole program, and we have 14 signed up this year. And Mr. Bycraft's doing things to ask girls like, hey, you're doing some cool things on the powder puff field. What about playing basketball? So that's a good thing to get those numbers out. But the one other thing that is an option, and I wanted to run it to start the talk of a strength and conditioning coach, that is something that starts with upper elementary levels, and it's someone that helps all programs, not just one program where girls soccer are doing these 3 exercises in the off season and then they move to this other sport and it's something completely different. Schools are hiring strength and conditioning coaches for a whole program, for a whole school, to say, let's work on these things together. And when you're during your season, you can do these things that won't affect your games. We don't want them tired when they're going out for a game. But when you're in the off season, we're all doing these type of workouts. So I haven't even talked to anybody or looked at what the cost would be, but it's an option to help with some of our things that are, could be a reason that we are struggling. And I've told coaches, we are not hiring and firing people because of wins and losses when you're doing the right things. When you are working very hard and you're doing all the things that you're supposed to and you're doing great things for our students, we need to support in other ways and not have people worried, because the wins and losses are not where they need to be, or the wins are not where they need to be. But these are things to help, and I just wanted the board to know that it's not just being brushed off, that we need to improve some of our strategic goals, and we're gonna keep working at it. Any questions?
What are we doing anything different with our custodians than everybody else? Because I know in the last 3-4 years, that's why I just asked Andy, the one I just hired 2 weeks ago.
And she already resigned.
Yeah. Do they give us any response, Kyle, of why they're getting the heck out of here?
Well, the one, because we had a couple that were here, I think one was here for like a week, the other one was 2 weeks. Just not worth the money. You know, it comes down to dollars and cents.
Okay.
You know, they come into the position thinking it's something, you know, you can prepare them by talking to them as much as possible, and then they come in and, you know, compensate, you know, they weigh up the compensation, and that's been the main drag with that.
Okay. How close are we to anybody around us?
I don't know, when they compare us to outside companies, we provide our custodians with full family medical insurance. And that's not something you see very often.
Right.
I don't know that it means what it did
Right.
5 years ago. And we have, you know, the state retirement system.
Right.
And I know that we do have an employee that left at one point stating those same things, and he's returned to the district as a custodian. So,
Yeah.
Can I volunteer my thoughts? I sub, and I'm generally the only sub they got. But, well, from what I hear, granted, the health insurance is great, they appreciate that, and the retirement system, they don't see that right now. 2 of them that I know of, they're both either living in their mid-30s, 40s, they're still living at home with mom and dad because they can't, that paycheck isn't enough to get them out. It's the paycheck that they, you know, and they're still having to pay for that full insurance too, so that cuts into their pay.
Thank you.
Because I say most of them are probably younger. That we get anyhow, I think.
We've had them from all ages. Yeah.
We're in a society now where there's so much talk around paying minimum wage and these things, so, you know, the stigma is that, you can go work at McDonald's for $15 an hour, you know? So, that's,
They don't see the fringe benefits, they don't see the.
no, I mean, it's the number.
Yeah.
McDonald's is still hiring too, though, so
Yeah.
I think that part of it is the number of people that are looking for jobs
Yeah.
compared to,
Mhm.
you know,
Absolutely.
they're not standing on the doorsteps anymore.
That's a common thing you see at every business. You got a sign in the window.
All right, any other questions for, I'll check it out. All right, student representative, Mr. Rule.
Kyle Drew, representing the school board, cross-country team. Congratulations to Kinsey Jacobs to set the school record, becoming the first female in the school history to break the 19-minute mark while running last Wednesday in the Jack Time J-Brown. Both the boys and girls cross-country teams are experiencing tremendous success this year, routinely breaking personal bests while placing near the top in competitions. Esports team. Pinconning High School esports team is up and running. The team includes 8 players from grades 9 to 12 who will be competing in the video game Rocket League. The players have been separated into 2 teams and will compete with schools from across the state on Thursdays through mid-November. Prom. The junior class has begun preparing for Prom 2023. Prom will take place on Saturday, April 29th at the Grand in Essexville. Student Council. Homecoming 2022 was the week of September 12th. Students enjoyed dress-up themes, a bonfire, a pep assembly, a parade, and the annual homecoming dance. Student Council would like to congratulate homecoming royalty, second runner-up Casey Rittenhouse, first runner-up Jasmine Johnson, and the homecoming queen Dalen Dane. Student Council would also like to thank the members, staff, and the community who helped make homecoming 2022 a success. Student Council is currently organizing many exciting activities for the coming month, including fall leadership training and break and move, Halloween in the hallways on October 31st, U of M MSU Challenge, and the fall blood drive scheduled for Tuesday, November 1st. National Honor Society. Letters have been mailed to students who meet the minimum requirements for membership in the National Honor Society. Once the applications have been received and the deadline has passed, members of the faculty The review board will determine who will be inducted into the National Honor Society this fall.
Thank you.
Quick question. How many kids did we, you said 8? How many did we get that wanted to?
Total? Ooh, that, I think there were over 15 that wanted to, I don't know. Just how many?
15 or 16 responded, 9 showed up for tryouts, and then the next day, one of them, we were gonna have to cut one, because we could only have 8. And the next morning before we got to that process, one of them dropped out. And so the 8 who showed up and tried out are able to play.
And we did get the $500, what do you call it, stipend from another school, recommending us, so that did help.
Who did we find for coach?
Ms. Winger.
Okay.
Great, thank you. Administrative staff. Anybody, everybody, don't all jump up?
I'll be real quick. I just need to remind budget committee that before next board meeting, we'll be having a budget committee meeting to go over the audit for audit presentation.
That you're on that, Gary?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then you
And
and
then, yeah.
I just want to point out that the homecoming parade and the game, it was one of like the most well-attended events that we've had in a long time. The community really came out and supported. I think it's partially because we were blessed with such beautiful weather, and that was really nice, but yeah, it was really cool to see all those people out there. It's kind of crazy to, see the little town of Pinconning, and we had thousands to see them. So, very cool.
Any other administrators?
My only topic right now is we had interviews for our vacancy for the basketball coach, varsity boys. So, have a decision by Friday.
How many candidates did you? All right,
Both interviewed well.
excellent.
I just want to share that next week for Linwood, we're having our book fair. So the first time in a while that we'll have it.
Yeah.
And then we're talking about custodians, and just want to tell everyone on Sunday, on April 2nd is National Custodians Day. So we're planning on celebrating our custodians on Monday.
All right, thank you.
The Sunrise Side Antique Tractor Club donated $500 to Central Elementary, and we will be using that money to help kids that need some basic needs throughout the winter.
Nice. Good to hear.
I did have one more other thing that just popped into my head. We've been having a few issues with our middle school lunch, being that it's middle schoolers for one, but there's 270 of them eating lunch at one time. So we're piloting separating those lunches. So basically, the kids in certain classes, there's 5 classes that were affected, would have a split 4th hour. So they 30 minutes 4th hour, then they go to lunch, and then return to 4th hour for the remainder. And that worked out very nicely today. A lot less compacted. We're seeing kids get through the lines much faster. With one lunch, kids might get 5 minutes. I mean, the last kid might get 5 minutes to eat. Now we had 19 minutes for my lunch that I supervised today. Very quick. The cooks appreciated it because it's a lot less chaos. Supervision appreciated it. Teachers have appreciated it. So far, so good. So it's really nice.
All right, thank you. Any other administrators?
Yes, sir. Jay, how did you get many parents tonight come in?
I had 2 in the system, so the system sent out 563 invites to high school, middle school parents. So far, 35 of them have been accepted. So I mean, it's pretty. The system is kind of intuitive, so I don't know as though there's that many parents that
need help. I mean, it could just be that they're going in and they're understanding. I think a lot of parents probably haven't looked at it yet. Yeah, I know. I was hoping for more, but it may come in time. I think there's probably some parents too that didn't get a message, and they'll probably come later because it could be the system was only able to send one email to the primary guardian, so we have split families. The secondary guardian, or whatever they're called, family 2, guardian 1, they didn't necessarily get an invite, but they can contact me and I can add them as a second parent to the system. So we may get more. I think if we were rolling it out to elementary, those students taking it home, we'd probably get more, but since they're still one-to-one, but they're using cards, it's
Well, just know that we appreciate you.
it's a cool system, I think. I mean, we've had concerns about it in the past, and so when I saw this, I mean, I know other districts using similar products. I specifically targeted it, and we were able to get the funds to cover it for 3 years. So it was just kind of a no-brainer to roll it out for parents. So,
Again, thank you. Board committees, we didn't have any, right? Public comments, anybody like to address the board? Anybody want to address the board about anything? Ms. Bauer? Again, you have 4 minutes, just to remind you.
I just wanted to say to Mr. Rhoda, thank you. That split lunch, my son has come home and said it's amazing. They actually have time to eat and play basketball and burn off some of that middle school energy. So I can say from the kids' perspective, they're also enjoying it as well. And then we had a couple of parents kind of curious. After the last lockdown drill, there was some discussion, and I know you guys were working on the PA system, about putting a visual in place for those lockdowns when they're in the gym, and we were just curious if that has happened yet or not.
Can I respond to that?
Yeah.
I don't believe that it has actually happened, but it is part of the PA system's goal that they are attempting to put something in there that would notify students. So I believe.
Yeah, and our crisis teams were going to be meeting soon to find out, where the best placement is and those kind of things. Those conversations are coming up very soon, so.
Great, thanks for the response. Anybody else like to address the board? Mr. Holland?
The young lady here that pointed out the National Custodian Day. And if you can address all your custodians and tell them they eat free at CJ's, either during lunch or after work. We'll feed all the custodians.
Thanks, Cliff. As if you don't do enough already.
If any of them brought to the school, I can take my lunch, grab them, and bring them up to our town. So, just let me know.
Whatever works for you. Appreciate that, Cliff. You do a lot for our community.
Don't forget CJ's.
She's that quiet power behind the scenes. You're definitely the voice. Nobody will debate that. You're definitely the voice. But we know where the true power lies, yeah. Again, anybody else like to address the board? Yes, sir.
I wanted to take a minute just to thank Andy. I think you've been doing a great job. It's only been a month or so, but really things have been coming along nicely. Reiterate what Mr. Woodruff said about homecoming, grade 5, even Friday. I know the boys have been getting their butts kicked out there, but the vibe has been great on the football field. Lots of good things going on, and I think, yes, the weather helped out, and I hope maybe it'll get them back next year again, because they want to be a part of that. Back to the custodial thing. Scott and Bob, right, our main guys out there. How many hours they get? Can we get more hours?
Well, they're maintenance, correct?
Yeah,
They're not custodial, but again, they're doing a lot of the custodial work.
Right.
While they're supposed to be doing their maintenance, everybody's kind of chipping in to try to get everything done, and it's tough to keep up right now.
Right, yeah, I get that, and I just wonder, well, if they're only getting 40, can we open that up for a little bit? Would they take it? I don't know.
We're looking at options. We've talked today and about different things and what we can do, so, yeah, we're
All
looking at
avenues.
everything, yep,
So yes, thank you for bringing that up.
yeah, thanks.
Anybody else like to address the board? Any other public comment? Again, thank you for coming and holding us accountable. You're always like your support and keeping us on our toes and follow through. All part of the community, so thank you much. Discussion items, superintendent goals. So you have that in your packet. It's on the last page or somewhere back there. So, kind of bare bones what we were doing with COVID. These are what Mike had before. I don't know if there's a desire to change them, to add to them. I mean, there's some superintendent goals out there that are booklets. I don't really want to go that route. But do you want to, is there a will to change this? Is there a will to send this to personnel to look at it, to see if we want to change it? Just kind of, we have a new superintendent, and again, as everyone said, off to a good start. Still the honeymoon phase on Mr. Kowalczyk, don't get comfortable.
Is part of his salary tied to the results of the?
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, not anymore. Mike's were, but this one's not. That was something that we changed in the contract, correct? So in this case, that is not the case. So I don't know if you want to discuss that at personnel, and what I would urge is, if you want to do that, is for each of us to kind of look into that and maybe send stuff either through me or Mr. Kowalczyk, and we can send it to the personnel committee when they meet, so they can take that into account. Or we can discuss it here and now, or we can discuss it through next time.
When does the board do the evaluation?
When? Usually in May, at first part of June.
We
Well,
switched it though, to December.
To December.
So for that year, we could leave it, I would say.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then reevaluate in January or in December. Okay.
And that was recommended, so the new board members that
Yeah.
come on
That's
don't
correct.
have part of the evaluation, they've been
That
here
was
for
all
a
part
month
of
or
it.
2 months, where that way it gets the
Yep.
people that are still here
That was
to be
all
part of it, that's what why that happened.
Yep, so new evaluation, so yeah, just leave them as they stand, and then we'll do it with the evaluation and make a recommendation at that point. It sounds like, you're so good, Mr. Yaros. Welcome aboard.
Has the county contacted the school yet, who's running in November? Candidates?
They haven't contacted us, but I contacted a very smart person, reliable source, who did tell me there were two. There was two.
And any other questions? The only other old business I'd like to address is the banners and the policy committee. This is essentially more for public notification. Is we have obviously a policy book that's, I don't know, this big. And Mr. Yaroson's experience said, hey, we already got this. And so we already have a policy that really addresses that fundraising aspect. So it was really a matter of if we felt there was anything different that we needed to do in this regard. And so everybody was kind of sent that policy, and I guess I'm of the belief now that I don't think we need to address it. I think the policy we have kind of takes care of it and is specific enough yet vague enough to allow for these kind of differences in the different fundraising. So is there any other discussion on that, or does it sound good to kind of leave as is? That our current policy addresses it, and our administrators can follow that and use that, as well as our sports teams and any other group that is fundraising. All right, again, thank you so much for that. Other than that, any other discussion items? If not, I will take a motion.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Or motion and support, any discussion?
It was just a little bit slower than what Tom did.
Tom would already did it when he still talked.
Yeah, he would have.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, mentions, motion carried, we are adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
You have a book to sign.